I would never in my life, back in those days, ever thought that Yirra Yaakin would achieve anywhere near what it achieved. I guess it just wasn't in our mindset to think that we could do that for some reason. So when things started falling in place, I remember the first time we did a little tour to Brisbane with King hit. That was like a major thing. Oh my God, we're actually going to another state, And it was my good friend of mine, Jeff Narkle, who's passed on now. We were sitting in the audience and I was the director and he was the writer, and it was that classic where half the audience, the non-Indigenous audience, they're laughing at one thing and the Aboriginal audience is laughing at another. Of course, Jeff was just cracking up, and the lady who was sitting in front of him got really upset, and she turned around and she said, "Could you please stop laughing? This is not a funny play. This is very serious stuff." And he was just gobsmacked. He looked at it. Here's this ex-boxer just being told off by this little granny,
Jeff was just such a beautiful person, such a gentle giant, that it was just a pleasure to do all these different variations of King Hit with him. And it became this fantastic production piece, it became a fantastic piece of youth workshop residency, and it became a fantastic community engagement project with the Wandering Reunion. So to me it encapsulated Yirra Yaakin, and I love it to this day.
Theatre's a funny beast. If you have success and you have a big successful show, you get a little bit scared because you think, oh, how are we going to top this next time, You're only as good as your last show, so the saying goes. But there have been some fantastic moments. I remember when we did Windmill Baby, which was a one-woman show, and she's playing like 14, 15 characters.
Don't make him yours. We just gonna have a big ass hit or hit.
And I remember at the time being so scared on opening night. Absolutely, I almost to the point I thought I was going to pass out. Then the reviews come in and you think, I felt like, well, we've finally sort of reached a point now where we've got something to bounce from, like sort of a counterpoint. The interesting thing with that play, it went to the Comédie Française, I think that's how you say it, my French isn't very good, and they did a reading of the script there in Paris, and I thought how wonderful, they've got this one-woman show, and I was sitting in the audience, and then 14 actors walked out on stage because I'd forgot to tell them it's a one-woman show. They even had someone playing the dog.
Might be that Mrs. gonna have that windmill baby.
Last year being invited to London and participate in the Cultural Olympiad, to have Shakespeare's sonnets converted into Noongar language, that was something special. We had Noongar language spoken on a world stage. People were just amazed, and I think even our own mob, when they heard it, I think a few of them, particularly a lot of the elders, had a bit of a tear in their eye to listen to the language being spoken by young people.
More Mirnich, Mordich.
We almost had to pinch ourselves, and there were many times we almost felt there was a sense of unworthiness about that we shouldn't get too far away from community. That community will think we're big shots. Who do we think we are going overseas? Oh, we've turned our back on them, all that sort of feeling about it. So I think many times the board made very conscious decisions about let's not lose that connection to community. Let's not just become main stage. And I think that's what sets Yirra Yaakin apart. We've never ever left the community behind. We keep them very much engaged with the company.